Hey everyone, welcome back to The Highest Vibe. I'm Jess, and today I have a sequence dedicated to the athlete. So it is, as an athlete, it's very important to take care of your body in order to perform better and just make sure you're not experiencing any pain, and of course to prevent injury. So today's class is going to be focused on the hips and the low back, two big problem areas for most athletes. So it's really important to take care of those areas. We'll work on creating a little bit more space in those areas of the body. We'll work on mobility and ultimately just finding a connection with that part of the body and taking care of it. So even if you are not an athlete, you can still do this practice. It's a great practice to do after you've done a workout, just a great stretch. Just a good practice overall to take care of the body. So when you're ready, we're going to get started in a seated position. Okay, so just coming into a comfortable seated position. I'm just sitting up on a block here. If you have a block at home, you can do the same. Otherwise, just sit in whatever way that feels good for your body. We'll just close off our eyes now, taking a moment or so here to ground ourselves, to let go of any distractions, and just prepare yourself for your practice. Trying to release any tension that may have built up in your body, softening through the neck and the shoulders. I'm just taking a moment now to find your breath. Listening to the sound as you inhale and exhale. Just finding your own rhythm. Taking a few more breaths. On your next inhale, you can go ahead and open up your eyes. Okay, so from here, we're just gonna move into a tabletop position. So just come onto all fours. You can place your block if you had one to the side. We don't need it anymore. So just coming onto hands and knees. Hands are about shoulder distance apart. The fingertips are spread wide. Your knees are about hip distance, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Just taking a few rounds of cat-cow here to warm up the spine. Inhale as you drop the belly down and open up the chest. Exhale as you round the spine. Inhale, sending your heart forward. Exhale, tucking your tailbone under. Just a few more rounds. You can move at your own pace. Just following your breath. Really trying to exaggerate each movement. Last two. On your next inhale, just coming back to a neutral spine. Just walk your hands forward just a little bit. We're gonna come into a low lunge. So just stepping your right foot up in between your hands. You can wiggle it forward. Making sure to stack your front knee over your front ankle. Stay up on your fingertips, sending your heart forward, and already starting to feel an opening through the front of that left hip. When you're ready, take an inhale, reach your arms up beside the ears. Relax the shoulders down into the body. Good, keeping the arms active here. Good, now just lift out of the pose slightly. And then firm up the right thigh. And then firm up through the back of your left hamstring. So everything's working here. Squeeze your inner thighs together towards the midline. Press into your front foot. Good, and then allow yourself to sink forward just a little bit. Go ahead and keep your belly in. Try and resist the urge to really arch your back, but keep the belly and the ribs hugged in. Good, starting to find a little bit of movement here. Take an inhale to lift out once again. Exhale, sink forward. Inhale to lift. Exhale to sink. Good, and just keep moving with your breath. If you have a sensitive knee and it's starting to bother you, you can always double up the mat, or you can place a towel or a blanket under that back knee. Just keep moving with your breath. Last two. Take an inhale, come out. Exhale, just drop your hands down on either side of that front foot. Go ahead and slide the foot back. Set the knee down and just wiggle the hips from side to side. Come back to center. Come onto the fingertips and then just send that left foot forward, closer to the top of the mat. Front knee over front ankle, and just lift your heart. Feel the sensation through the front of this right hip. Good, when you're ready, take an inhale to reach the arms up, relaxing the shoulders down. Good, firming up the legs, squeezing the inner thighs towards the midline. Feeling that back hamstring, that right hamstring working here to support you. So it's really easy sometimes to just dump all of your weight and sink into the pose. But it takes some effort to get control of the pose and really understand what's going on. Good. Inhale to come out of the pose just slightly. Exhale as you sink back down. Inhale, come out. Exhale, sink forward. Good, just moving with your breath. Just starting to send some awareness or maybe even a little bit of heat to the psoas muscle, the muscle right here at the front of the body. Last two. Good, just release your hands down either side of that front foot. Send the knee back to your tabletop. Bring the hands flat and just move the hips from side to side. Come back to stillness. From here, we're gonna come into our first downward dog. So just tuck the toes under, lift your knees and send your hips up high. Take a moment to realign your hands and your feet. Hands are about shoulder distance, feet are about hip width. Press into the mat with all 10 fingers, the whole hand. Reach the arms away from you. Allow your head to hang heavy. Release the shoulders away from your ears and reach the chest back towards the back of the mat. If you have really tight hamstrings, and that's definitely common in a lot of athletes, then you can definitely bend your knees here. So you really want to create length in the spine and reach your hips up towards the sky. And just find your breath once again. Listening to the sound as you breathe in and out.
Last 2 breaths here. Good, and from here, just start to walk your feet up towards your hands. Take your time, you can go slow. Bringing your feet about hip distance apart, allowing your toes to point forward. Keep the knees soft here, so bend the knees as generously as you need to. Allow the upper body to hang heavy over the legs. You can let your arms hang down, or you can grab a hold of opposite elbows here. Release the neck, release the shoulders. Allow the top of the head to point down towards the mat. Pressing into both feet evenly. And just feeling into the back of the legs. Perhaps feeling a little bit of a stretch in your lower back as well. If it feels okay, you can begin to straighten the legs, creating an even deeper lengthening through the hamstrings. Stretching a little bit deeper into that area right behind your knee as well. Continue to let the upper body be heavy. Take 2 more breaths. And from here, just release your arms. Let your hands come down. Find some softness in the knees once again, and very slowly just begin to roll yourself up to standing. Take your time here, allowing the spine to unroll 1 vertebrae at a time. And lifting through your head last. Just taking a few shoulder rolls here. So I'm just going to turn to face you. You can stay where you are. We're going to come into standing pigeon. So bring your feet about hip distance apart. Soften through the knees. Keep your hands on your hips. We're going to cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh. Flex through your right foot and then send your hips back in space. Keep the right knee down. Good. You can keep your hands at your hips. Send your hips back. Good, and then sit a little bit lower into the pose. So if you have trouble balancing here, you can definitely use a wall for a bit of support. Good, sit a little bit lower. So you should feel this on the outside of your right hip. This is also great for opening up space in the low back. Good, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, you can reach your fingertips down to the ground. Send your hips back. Breathe here. Wherever you are, take 2 more deep breaths. On an inhale, bringing your hands up to your hips if you had them on the ground. Slowly coming all the way back up. Uncrossing the right ankle. And just shifting your feet from side to side. From here, we'll come to the other side now. So feet are about hip distance to start. Soften through the knees and then cross the left ankle now over top of the right thigh. Make sure to flex through your left foot. This is going to protect your knee. And then sit down into the pose. Send your hips back. Lean your heart forward. Keep your spine long, keep your shoulders down. Good, keep sitting the weight back into your right heel. Breathe here. You can stay right here if this is enough. If you want to go a bit further, just bring both hands down to the ground, sit your hips back, straighten through your right leg. It doesn't have to be completely straight. Breathe here. Good, taking one more breath wherever you are. Next inhale, hands come to your hips. Slowly lift the torso up. Good, uncross and just move your feet from side to side. Okay, we're gonna come down to seated now on our mat. And we're actually gonna mimic the posture that we just did, but we're gonna do it seated. So just bring your hands back behind you. Knees are bent, feet are about feet are about hip width apart. We're just gonna cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh. And then use your right hand to very gently just guide the right knee open. Flex through the foot. Bring the hands back behind you. Fingertips can face forward to the side, whatever feels best. And then press into the hands, lift and lengthen your heart. Try and straighten the arms here. Good. To go a little bit deeper, you can just walk the left foot in. Breathe here. Good, so just noticing how this variation of pigeon, is what it's called, feels the same as when we were standing. And also just notice how it feels different. So what area of the hip are you feeling most here? Good, couple more breaths here. Last one. Good. From here, just bend into the elbows, send your weight into the hands, and then uncross the right ankle. We'll just walk the feet forward to start. Same thing here, we're gonna cross the left ankle over top of the right thigh. Go ahead and flex through that left foot. You can use your hand to gently guide the knee open. Pressing into the hands, trying to straighten the arms as you lift your heart up. You can stay here, or you can take it further by walking the foot in. Last few breaths here. One more. Good, and then just lean onto your hands, bend into your elbows, and uncross the foot. So from here, we're gonna come onto our bellies. So just swing the legs around you. Come down onto your belly. Good, so just stack your hands at the top of your mat. Let your forehead come down. Lifting up through your right foot and just lengthen through the right leg. Put the foot back down. So feel the difference between right to left now through the hips. So one side, the right side should be more flush with the mat. And then inhale to lift the left leg up, reach the foot back, place the leg down. Good, so notice the surface area that you've created through your hips just by making that small adjustment. From here, just look your head forward. Bring your hands off of your mat, come onto your fingertips and point your elbows up towards the sky. So really point through both sets of toes here. Try and create more length through the leg. We're gonna work on creating some strength or building some muscle in our lower backs. So as you take your next inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just release the right foot down. Next, inhale, lift your left foot off the mat. Lengthen through the leg. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. A few more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lower the leg down to the mat. Good, we're gonna do both of them together. So bring your feet together. Try and get your ankles to touch. Next, inhale, lift both legs off the mat. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. You really want the strength to be coming from the low back here. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Last 2, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just stack your hands at the top of your mat. Just rest your forehead down. Taking 2 more breaths. Inhale, lift your head to look forward. Just bring your hands right underneath of your shoulders. Press yourself back into a child's pose. You can keep your knees together or apart. Send your hips back towards your heels. And this should feel good for the low back. Inhale, walk your hands. Lift yourself up. Okay, so from here, just swing your legs forward. We're gonna come down to our backs. So just coming to lay down here. Keep your knees bent to start. Extend your right leg straight up into the air. Interlace your hands behind that right thigh. And just use the strength of your hands and your arms to pull the leg in closer. So trying to keep the leg straight, go ahead and flex the right foot so the toes point towards your face and the heel points up towards the ceiling. Try and keep your neck and your shoulders relaxed here. So once again, trying to create some length through the back of the legs. So everything in the back body is, of course, connected. So the hamstrings are connected to the glutes, which are connected to the low back. So it's important to take care of all of those areas. So tight hamstrings can definitely result in a tight low back or pain in the low back. You can stay right here if this is enough for you. If you want to go further, straighten through the left leg, flexing through both feet, reaching the left heel forward as you draw the right leg in closer. Last few breaths here. One more breath. And just releasing the right foot down to the mat. Extending your left leg straight up into the air. Reaching to grab behind the left thigh. Pulling the leg in closer towards you, flexing through your left foot so the heel points up towards the ceiling. And if you can go deeper, you can pull the leg in a little bit closer. If you have a little bit more space, now's the time to extend your right leg straight. Both feet are flexed. Feeling length down the back of that left leg. The last few breaths. Go ahead and release the left leg, let the foot come down. Bend into your right knee. Taking our final pose here. So we're gonna get into the inner groin, the inside of the hips. So just bring the bottoms of your feet together to touch and let your knees relax out to the side. The closer your heels are towards your hips, the more opening or the more challenging this pose will be. You can walk your feet out just a little bit if you want to go a little less intense. Bring your hands on your belly and just close your eyes. So notice if you're gripping or you're resisting in any way. Just see if you can let gravity do its job here. So let the knees be heavy. Allow your hips to open. Coming back to a conscious breath. Last 3 breaths here. On your next inhale, just use your hands to help your knees back in together. Roll over onto your right side. And just help yourself back up to seated. And keeping your eyes closed if you can. Sitting up tall. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Just taking a moment to seal in your practice. One more breath together. Bring your thumbs up to your forehead. Namaste. So that does it for our Yoga for Athletes sequence. I hope that you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments how it went for you. And be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you again soon for another video. Bye guys.